So back to you, Tachi, with the coworkers. They clearly seemed like they would be interested in this type of dynamic. So what is a sister wife tip that you would give to them? Or that you did give to them? Because I don't remember how the conversation ended.
She asked me how did I deal with watching him with multiple women. And I'm like, when you build a sisterhood with these women, you don't look at it like that. I mean, if you coming in and you thinking he's just all yours, of course you see him with another woman, it's like, how dare she touch my man? You know what I'm saying? But I don't look at it like that. When I see him embracing my sister, I'm like, yeah, kiss her, hug her.
It's beautiful.
About, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you have to have that mindset. And I always tell people my biggest defense now, I can't say before, but now is prayer. And if I don't feel like I know where to lead to as far as prayer, again, I got my sisters. I go to them to check my spirit. Constantly, I come to y'all. Look, I want to say this. I want to move this way. Am I coming in the right spirit? And y'all check me instantly. You know what I'm saying? So that is another beautiful thing about having sisters, especially because all of my sisters around me, for the most part, are further in the faith than me. I'm still a baby. So sometimes I don't know how to move. I still, and I want to clear this up for all the listeners. We're not perfect. I don't want y'all to think because we're speaking about scripture, we still act in flesh. You know what I'm saying? We still have emotions. We still go through these things as women, you know what I'm saying? But overall, I feel like the bigger picture is the union. The bigger picture, at the end of the day, I could be mad at you all day long, but I'm mad at you as my sister, not just some on the street. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think prayer and sisterhood is the biggest thing. If you're not planning on building a sisterhood in this, if you're thinking you just gonna come in this and just deal with the man, and you're not gonna build no union with the women that's around you, then yeah, it's not gonna be for you. Not at all.
That's for sure the pros of having a well-balanced man, because being able to know the steps, like, because it comes, honestly, we are in the flesh, so some of those emotions do come, and it's taking in the lessons that your man has instilled in you on how to be proactive when you feel it coming on. That's one of the things that our husband talks about, especially me and this one's relationship, on how quickly we might have a moment where we're in a disagreement, but in that same instance, we're right back to it and you didn't even know. So that's critical as far as sisterhood.
Can I ask the question? As far as we get into we got the pros down as far as our Hebrew community and, you know, how we deal with polygyny. But as far as the cons, what are some of the things that we deal with as women all together as sisters? Something that we could share with everybody, just to let them know, like Tachi said, it's not really all, you know, glitter and gold.
I think that went along with the pros. I do, as far as prayer and the foundation being a sisterhood. If you're not locked in and you don't realize, like, one of the things I used to say to these two all the time is, oh yeah, new listeners, I came in after Bina and Ahava. So one of the things that I used to tell them all the time is that I value their marriage the same way that I value mine. So if a individual's in a selfish space, they're self-centered, then it's not going to work, because they're placing themselves, and that dynamic is not going to work. Like our husband did a lesson with us the other day. He was talking about how the lionesses operate. And once you're locked in like a sisterhood, you are there. You gonna sacrifice. I mean, you're not going to sacrifice anything. You're going to listen. You're falling. Hey, let me help you out. Here's what I do when he and I are in this space. Or you got it. It's the sisterhood and valuing their marriage the same way that you value your own.
Well, first, Shay, is this answering your question at all?
It's answering my question, but I was going to say something like, as far as what my downfall was, you know, coming into our union. Just so everybody know, this is not something that you should do at all. You know, my biggest downfall coming into this union was pretty much thinking, obviously not, I already know that, you know, he already had wives. By the time I came in, it was about four wives already. So I already knew what I was coming into, but my biggest downfall was not challenging myself to improve the things that I knew I had trouble with. So in the beginning, we talked about, as far as how did I feel, or how did each of us feel coming into this union. And I said that, I had problems with women. And if we want to get down to those problems, those issues, some of those things start from, youth. And if you don't have a mom, if you haven't had a mom in your life, or you haven't, even if she was, or you women to look up to, it's going to be a bit difficult. If you've always had male friends, and and you don't talk to women, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult coming into it. So for me, that was my biggest issue. Like, how can I maneuver around getting over that part? Like, I don't know. There's some things that I did not know coming into it, like as far as what to wear, and I wasn't always agreeable with the things that I was supposed to wear, but according to our faith, of course I had to get down. I had to get down with the get down, submit, TTG.
I think that's another, hold on one second, because Tashi wants to, but I think that also is another thing with going along with knowing what your man's mission is, because knowing their mission, it wouldn't have been uncomfortable as far as the attire, because that would have been something that would have already been made aware of. So it wouldn't have been a sister problem. That would have been a core,
right.
And knowing their mission. But go ahead, Tachi.
I was going to say what y'all had told me when I first just is fall in line. Like, if this,
that's
if this
his mission. Yeah.
If this is what you signed up for, then it's fall in line. I don't even think it was the entire that threw me off, and I can't even say it was really the women. It was me that threw me off. You come in, you get used to spending time with the man, because in the beginning you spend time with the man for the most part. You don't really spend time with the women. You're getting to know him. It's what they call courtship before you get married. Y'all getting to know each other. I guess that would be in the real word the fiance stage or whatever. So when you get around the women, if you hadn't interacted with them before, it's kind of like, so where do I gotta get in where I fit in? But how do I fit in? I don't even know where I get in at. So you know what I'm saying? And I think my biggest thing was I let that eat me up, because it was like I just kind of like sunk. I didn't know what to do, where to go. And then at that time, I wasn't even receiving my sisters. And this is just speaking on my experience. I wasn't receiving the women. I looked at them helping me and learning me and trying to get me to be a Hebraic woman. Because when I came in, I didn't have a faith. I knew it was a higher power. I didn't know him as the name of Yah or Yahshua, Yahweh, anything. I just knew that somebody put us here. So I'm learning everything. I'm unlearning a lot at the same time. But when you're unlearning it and that has been your life, it's hard, especially when you have women around you that you don't know telling you, okay, that ain't platinum. It's like, who the hell is you to tell me that? I've been doing this all my life. Ain't nobody ever told me this was wrong. And you know what I'm saying? So you don't take it as constructive criticism. You take it as they poking at you. You taking it as like, oh, these women they just picking with me. They just picking with me. They just picking with me. But in all reality, it's they trying to get you there. They trying to get you to that point where it's like, okay, this is what my husband expects. And if you're gonna be a wife of my husband, this is what pretty much fall in line. If you can't fall in line, you're going to fall over.
That's it right there. Iron sharpening iron. He talks to us about growing. Not changing, but growing. And so a lot of people be like, yo, I'm not about to compete. This is not a competition. But it is. That was one of the things that I had to realize. It's a healthy competition. My sisters are calling me to be a better woman. Iron sharpening iron, and that also is scripture. Go ahead.
Yeah, Shay, I wanted to ask you questions because I wanted you to be more specific, because you said there are things that, growing up that were challenging and you didn't like certain women or whatever the case. Can you be more specific about the emotion or what was it that you didn't like or had a hard time?
It wasn't something that I didn't like. It was just something that I didn't know. It was a lot of things that I didn't know. So I was on my own since I was 15, so I had to raise myself as a woman. I didn't have the best anything, but I did what what I could, with the things I had. But, in school, I got teased a lot in school. There was females that they came dressing like they supposed to dress in school. I'm over here, my shoes stink, I need new shoes, I need new clothes, and how they just pretty much made me feel very low. Instead of women supposed to, be picking each other up, that was my biggest thing. I don't like that. I don't like confrontation. I did not know how to surround myself with females. There was always something. It wasn't a sisterhood like this. Even if I called them my friend, maybe they were my friend in my face, but maybe they weren't my friend behind my back or whatever. So it wasn't like iron sharpening iron. It was pretty much, let me put her down because I see myself above. So that's why it was very hard for me to, I accepted it. I wouldn't say it was hard for me to accept anything, but I would have to agree with Tachi on that part when it said I was in my own way. I could have been more, let's just say my pride should have definitely been dismissed, but it wasn't. A lot of stuff was hurtful to me, and I thought that, it was the same thing. Me being out there in the streets, they just trying to hurt me. So I rebuilt myself into a person where I wore makeup a lot, I wore weaves. I rebuilt that person, that insecure person. I rebranded her. And there was nothing that nobody could tell me at all. You can look at me and be like, well, I'm just trying to help you. I can't see it. My eyes is like shut right now. I don't see it. I can only feel it. So that's what I meant. And that's where my emotions stem from. I just had to get out of my own way and also know that, with my calling, and each and every last one of our calling, we were all called to be together, apparently, because we are here together. And I definitely believed. I didn't really know much about, I knew Jesus. I knew the Christianity version. I would say like the watered down version of our faith. And there were certain things that I didn't really understand. I wasn't trying to read the Bible because I felt like it contradicted itself. Only looking at those people who say that they believe, and I'm seeing something totally different than what the word is saying, but you showing me something totally different. I'm confused now. So now it doesn't make me want to read the Bible and whatnot until I started to actually, I had things that I went through in life. Obviously, we all have things that we go through. We have to grow through them. And I feel like there was a certain calling that led me to the truth. And meeting my husband, he put me up on game, and that is very, very attractive to me. So, that's why I'm here, and that's my little spill.
I just want to say thank you for that.
Of course.
So, Bina, you had something to add to?
I do. I just wanted to touch back on Shay's, what are the cons, because we do say a lot of pros, and when you get into this type of situation, a lot of people are like, okay, well, here's the good and what's the bad. I don't feel like we really touched on it. But honestly, I don't think there are any cons.
Correct.
Like, if you think about it, you're pretty much taking let's just say a monogamous relationship and amplifying it. It's more love from the husband. It's more love from the wives to help you do that same stuff you would do in a monogamous relationship, but now you have help. Now everything is bettering itself, if that makes sense.
Go ahead, Hasmonea. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly. I did have one more thing that I wanted to talk to you all about, because there appears to be like some uncomfortableness at some point, right? So what would you say would have made a difference in when you came into your union? What could have been different? Well, you I'm gonna X you out.
Okay.
So what about you?
On that one.
I must say that people are on different levels. Because my husband is taking on wives doesn't mean the wives have truly embodied him. So you could come into a difficult situation because there's a lot of emotions going on because of our mindset of he being our property. And jealousies can come up, how do we deal with these jealousies? And I could have done much better being that I'm older, but doesn't mean that you're wiser. Because you're older doesn't mean you're wiser. So as women, we can, like I think it was Shada said cattiness, or just sitting there in competition with one another for our husband's love. Or what we think his love is. And those kind of things, can tear the sisterhood down. So if you're coming into the situation before the women are truly embracing their Yah, the God. The womanism. I like that. And before they're truly embracing the womanism, then you're going to come into, you might think that everything is like set in stone and everybody should be walking in a certain way, but they may not be. So I may fail you, looking at me, I may fail you because of my own insecurities, because of my own imperfections. I'm striving to get it right. So in that way, you're looking at people who are supposed to be helping you, but they don't know how to yet. So in some instances, it may be that way.
I just think that I come in there a little bit more open-minded. This type of dynamic is not for closed-minded people, or should I say for the weak.
So based on just the two things, the two of you, what you said, neither of you would fault him. Neither of you would fault the man. And I think that's powerful. What about you, Shay?
Repeat that question for me again.
What is something that he or you could have done to make the union, your introduction, different?
That's a great question.
Is there anything that he could have improved on or you could have improved on?
Absolutely. I believe that I could have met you guys first. Before we got, intimate, before we were that close, I feel like just to meet you guys first, I think that would have been better for me. I can't speak on everybody, but to create that sisterhood first and foremost, I need to be able to understand your wives, because ultimately the wives, they are their husband. We have to follow our head. So by looking at you guys, it would have gave me a bigger perspective, outlook on how are you supposed to be when you are with your husband. How are you supposed to behave when you're around your sisters? You're supposed to, think of your sisters as better than you are. And that's just in every way.
There's a book out there called Want for Your Sister What You Want for Yourself.
Absolutely.
And she did a whole breakdown, and she went all the way back to scripture about polygyny and its benefits. So you didn't get out of this question because I know you were the initial wife, but what is something that you could have done different or he could have done different when it comes to a new wife coming in?
It kind of falls on the same line, just being more open, being more receptive of them coming in. Actually, being more understanding, I think is a better word. Understanding where they're coming from. Like, okay, let's just say I've been here. Let's say you and me been here, and then somebody else is coming in. They ain't been here. They don't know everything to expect inside the home. They know what to expect outside the home. They know what to expect with that man, but they don't know what to expect with everybody, not just wives, but the household as a whole in general. Let's talk about the dishes. I put my dishes away this way and I wash them that way. The next person might wash them and put them away a different way, and I can't be mad or upset because it's not done the way I would do. So it's just being more understanding, open-minded, and willing to work with the person, help them, show them. I think that would help.
I think for me, one of my struggles was being patient with other wives, because out of all of you guys, I've attempted polygyny a few times, and so I kind of already knew what to do when he's going to go be intimate with another wife, or what to do, when another wife looks like she's getting down. I kind of knew all of that. So when it felt like personal shots were coming at me, I never stopped to think, you know what, this is their first time. They might not know what it is that they're feeling completely. And so I immediately went into a cocoon type space, and I shut down, because I'm like, yo, I'm trying to give this woman this good advice. I'm trying to, and she is not hearing me. Why is she not? And you guys all touched on it. You felt like I was attacking you. And a hubby used to tell me all the time, she's like, it's not you. They're not ready to hear you. But I was impatient, and it made me frustrated. And that was one space that I had to pray for, is to get more patience. And in reading in 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about love, and one of the first lines is love is patient. And so that was one of the things that I had to focus on, is being more patient in this type of dynamic, and not expecting everybody to move the way that I'm gonna move, because I had a little bit more experience with it than all of you guys. But I wouldn't have any complaints with our husband. I wouldn't. He took me in as a grieving woman. I used to tell him when he first said he wanted to marry me, I said, no, don't do it. Are you crazy? Don't. I did not want to have anything to do with any men. These two, I don't remember which one, but these two were telling him, hey, she'd be a good wife. She'd be a good wife for you. She'd be a good wife for you. And I wasn't even blinking in his direction. I'm going on with life. I'm telling him, the space that I'm in life, I'm good. I just wanted to be a sister to them. And that was it. I wanted to help him build his foundation, his legacy, his home. That's it. I just wanted to be a sister to him. And that automatically kind of cast me into that space of being a wife, because what is a wife supposed to be? She's supposed to be a helpmeet. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to help him build up his legacy. And so automatically, that could be seen as a benefit. And she had already saw that in me. She told me something today that I was like, yo, you know what? I never even thought about myself like that. And some of the stuff that she was like, yo, you did this, and you was grieving, and I was just like, you know what? That's because I loved them. I saw his mission, and I was like, okay, I'm about to help wherever I can. And I love our family. So
I think that's where me and you built that, because I didn't think you liked me, remember? And you was the main one reaching out.
Yeah.
So this is it.
All right, so we're gonna tap in again, because this was a very very healthy subject. Make sure that you guys drop your questions in the comments. Make sure you guys follow us. We are at The Womenism on TikTok, Instagram, and on his YouTube series. Thank you for your time.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Oh my gosh.